I think we're ready to rock and roll, Nina.
All
Take it
right.
away.
Hey, my girls. This is me doing a little discussion on Subconscious Speaks. And I would like to thank my sponsor, Julie, for loaning me this book. I have it on audio, but I knew that in order to be able to talk well about it, I needed to be able to see the words. And actually, this week, I read this book twice and I listened to the audio twice. And you're not going to be able to tell by my discussion. But and I did try to listen to Linda's YouTube, but I had an issue um asking for passwords and sign-ins and stuff, and I just couldn't figure it out in time to listen to it before now. I don't know what the problem is, but anyway, I do so really like this book, even though it's like I feel like I'm wrestling a little bit with words, but I feel like the concepts I get. And there's definitely a handful of things that um, I come away with as most important things for me, having now read this book or listened to this book 3 times, read it twice or 4 times, I've lost track. But and also one thing I did was I listened to it while reading along with it, and that was awesome too, although some things are rearranged in the book differently from the audio. But it's all still there. So I loved the way the book ends, which is rearranged on the audiobook, but the very last 2 sentences in the book for me just kind of like cut through all of the intellectual understanding of everything and get to the heart of the matter, and that is confidence in divine power, in divine protection, in divine love. These things alone are enough to make man invincible. No man can fail if, in addition to his own efforts, he relies upon divine aid. The end. I mean, like, what else do you need to know? So that to me was a very powerful summary, because what the book is describing is how the divine works in us and through us and around us, and how we participate either knowingly or unknowingly with our conscious and our subconscious. So but that's what's happening. And another thing that I really came away with, it's more like it's definitely a reinforcement and pulling together of a lot of the things we're studying, but in a more concentrated form. And that is, the realization of the power of our subconscious, which it's been a topic of discussion for a while, to create the life of our heart's desires. And Julie and I were talking a little bit about this earlier today. There's constant interplay between our conscious and our subconscious, and what we see in our life right now, the circumstances that we're in, are a result of the vibrations, and this was also helpful how the author talks about thoughts are energy, and energy is vibrations. And so our thoughts create vibrations, and like attracts like. And when everyone has their own unique vibration. And so when we are thinking things, we are sending out vibrations, we are vibrating, and those vibrations meet other like vibrations. And so essentially we are the cause, and that's also what Jacondi says. We are first cause. Who we are being is what creates our circumstances. So now I'm going to get to like a somewhat of a question that this is what I was brought up to Julie earlier today that I kind of wanted to discuss tonight, is because the author here in Subconscious Speaks talks about how the conscious mind directs the subconscious mind, and the conscious mind tells the subconscious mind what to think, and otherwise it's completely on its own, like a engine with no driver. But what if we find ourselves in a situation where we want to be happily married, or we want to be financially solvent and debt free, we want to be in a loving community of reciprocal, like-minded people, but then we find ourselves not in those situations? So how do you reconcile the fact that consciously you desire these things and you are not experiencing them? That makes you question, so what do I really believe? And that has been my experience through reading different books, is exposing it. Kind of, if you compare your circumstances to what you say you want and what you believe, then there's an exposure of a disparity there. Maybe I don't believe really that I deserve this, or maybe I believe that I deserve this negative thing, or that I don't deserve this positive thing. I don't deserve to be loved unconditionally, or I don't deserve to have wealth, or whatever. So that is the subconscious, and that is the part that kind of would get me tripped up in this book. Is because in that situation, the subconscious is actually in control of your circumstances. It's the engine going wild, because the vibrations subconsciously are attracting that into your life, even though consciously you are under the illusion that you want otherwise. So that's something that I got tripped up on. And then I would go back and then I'd be like, well, then you create the awareness. Well, you become aware that you have a core belief system deeper in your subconscious that was impressed upon you as a child for whatever reason. And that is exposed. And then you use your conscious brain in your mind to then shine the light on that darkness area in your subconscious and redirect and take control, and do the things that in this book says to do, like build your confidence and your faith and your connection with the divine, to get your subconscious to align with what your true desires are. So just throwing that out there. Then the other thing that a couple of things that I really loved, that I recognized in his teaching here, is that we all have desires. Like, desire is prayer. He says that a desire in us to experience something in life is like a prayer, because, and I definitely resonate with that, because I feel there are some desires that are part of who I am, that God put in me as a part of creating me. Like, it's just it's inherent with who I am. And so why it only makes sense that that's part of my destiny, those desires. And why would God put those there without a plan or a permission or just already fulfillment of those desires if that wasn't my destiny. And my part in it is to believe and have faith and make the efforts, take action in faith toward those desires. And we talk ourselves out of if we're not, I think the growth process can be so scary and challenging that we talk ourselves out of, maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, but talk ourselves out of, well, who am I to want that for my life? Or, you know, that's too hard, or I'm too old, or I don't know, whatever reason or rationale you want to grasp onto to which is fear-based, and he talks about that too, but to deny yourself that destiny and to experience the fulfillment of your destiny. Or and this also makes me think of Paulo Coelho, I never say his name right, the alchemist, in that powerful allegory about fulfilling your destiny. Like, it's a journey and it's a process, and it's the who we become along the way is a recognition of God in us. Like, that's how you find out that how loved you are and how you're strong and powerful your impact on the world can be. It's the process is as important as the destination. And he talks about that too, how this is it's a very relational topic here, the subconscious and the conscious and the divine and the universal and the personal, and then God. Like, there's relationships here, and one doesn't work without the other, and everyone participates. And you put in your positive energy and you get positive back. And it also makes me think of something that actually became a realization to me late in adulthood, even though, I was introduced to the Bible at a very young age and read it and whatever, was studied it. But in church and Christianity, people talk about the kingdom of God and fighting for the kingdom of God. And for a long time, I just perceived that as like heaven or something. And then I actually read the part in the Bible where it talks about it, and it's like the kingdom of God is within you. Jesus was answering that to someone, and I was like, wait, no one ever said that before. I must have missed it. Anyway, the kingdom of God is within you. The divine is within you. Like, if you want to get close to God, you go within. You don't need to go without. And you go within and you become in touch with your subconscious. Like, it's just, that is the connection. There's a connection to the divine, and that is where the power is in creation. The creator invested within us the power of creation, and this is how it's done. And that's what I've loved about this time in quarantine, is it's like it's, for me, it's been freeze everything, all the busyness in life, and it's very contemplative time, which I'm that kind of person anyway. I'm really contemplative all the time, but a lot of times it can be like more ruminatory than contemplative, which is ruminating over past or whatever. But to be truly contemplative, like, it's caused me to see now is a time for creation, and old things are taken away, and it's a time to create new. Like, it's a clean slate, it's a blank canvas. What do you want to do? That you don't have your crutches anymore, or your, not even crutches, but just things that keep you occupied and in the same trajectory happening now. So you can choose a new one. It just, of course, I'm also not going through any hardships really right now at all. So I feel like I'm in a good place to think about that. I'm sure if I were experiencing some really deep struggles, I would be just barely surviving, not like thriving in creation mode, but definitely feel like the subconscious speaks explains how we are partners in our destiny, and how we are co-creators in the life we have. Not We are creators and co-creators because we're participating with the universal and with the divine, and it's all of us together. So, and then it really stuck with me again what Julie said when she went over this about fear, and of course it stuck out multiple times. Like, fear is the interrupter and the saboteur of all this creation and all this love and beauty and fulfillment. Is fear is the one that will just stop everything in its tracks. And I'm so grateful to have that as a red flag, and know that as soon as I'm looking at that or feeling that, sensing that, then I can follow that smoke trail to the fire and address what the issue is with that. So that's really kind of the sum of how I experienced this book. Just double check that I didn't forget something. We can talk about, if anybody wants to throw anything out, we can talk about some details. And
Gosh, that. Kudos, babe. You just did a hang up job there. I can tell you've been reading it over and over, and so have I. And that was a very, very intelligent discussion that you opened up. Thank you so much. It just was really, really good, Nina. So beautiful. Couple things that jumped out. There's everything that is in this book it produces more insight. Every time you go over it, it's amazing. I want to remind you that this book is called The Subconscious Speaks. The Subconscious Speaks. And the preface is by the subconscious. It says, by the subconscious, who's the author.
Yeah.
So when you refer to he, you're referring to the subconscious. This book was channeled. So this is information.
That's right.
This is the subconscious telling you how it works, telling you how the whole thing works, telling you how you manifest your life, telling you how you can drive the car, telling you how you can change anything, telling you how you're actually unlimited. Not only are you not limited by what you think you can do or have or be, you're unlimited by anything. You can be things that you don't even know you could be, because no one's ever been that. It's like the subconscious is talking about unlimited with a capital U. Like, it's kind of mind-boggling. You said thoughts create vibrations. I want to remind you that thoughts are vibrations. That's what thoughts are. So there's not like a thought that creates a vibration. Thoughts are vibration.
Right.
So a small point could be just choice of words. And the first cause is who we are being, which you said, and I agree with that. Now, Dr. Joe says the thought is the first cause, And I had to really think about that because he's a smart guy. I subscribe to his whole thing. So think about this. If being is the first cause, you can think of being someone else to change your whole thing. The thought of who you're being is really the first cause. Usually we just think we're us, our identity, which is, we think mistakenly that that's a solid thing. And I actually wrote a piece that's on my new website. It's amazing how the website kind of fits in with this. I'm not trying to promote the website to you guys, but it's like you could think of being a generous person and then act from the place of being that person and create generosity in your life. I just pulled that out of the air. But you can actually like adapt certain persona to create certain states, to create certain results in your life. If you're going to sing a song is a great singer, for instance. Why not? Why would you pick anything else? What else? Yeah, on the note about the website, I just have to throw this in there because the website's so much on my mind right now. When you were talking about now's the time for creation, that we have this space for introspection and to pause from our daily routine. We're taken out of our routine, whether we like it or not. So there's this opportunity to recreate what isn't working in our lives. Now, it's my personal understanding from the information that I've been getting is that we are going to, as a collective, recreate absolutely every aspect of our lives, which to some people, if that was the New York Times headline, they would be freaking out. You know, oh, we can't do the government and the money and the healthcare and the insurance and the real estate. You know, but what you said, I have to say I agree with, is that if we're creative and we don't use the same thinking that created all those dysfunctional systems that weren't serving us anyway, we could create a utopia for our future. I'm not saying it's going to be like a magic wand overnight, but it starts with the individual's thinking. It starts at home with your personal understanding of exactly what's in this book, which I just find like amazingly exciting, the potential that's existing right now, because we can't go back even if we wanted to. But when we really look at it, would we really want to? I wouldn't personally. Right. And think about this too. You were talking about the prayer, that you feel like God put these desires in you because that was your destiny, which is really beautiful. You wouldn't be having these thoughts of the evolved Nina unless you were supposed to be the evolved Nina. And I wrote down, you found this book. Out of all the jillions of books that exist in the world, somehow this book came to you at this time, of course, but when you look at how not only can you clue into the evolved version of yourself, which you were saying, if it wasn't your destiny, you wouldn't even be thinking of it. You'd just be doing your thing and kind of like a muggle, like most people, right? But it's actually supplied to you. Like everything you need gets served to you as soon as you elevate your thinking about yourself as a human being, as a vehicle for God's destiny, as you put it. You can really notice that everything you need to do that is right there. You just have to see it and notice it and appreciate that this is not a struggle game. You know, this is actually like you're manifesting according to how you think you can manifest, you know?
And everything happens for you. Like if you adopt that mentality, yes, everything happens for you and not to you.
That's right.
Like I have a little example of that. Like, for months now, one of my main affirmations is my husband and I fall more in love every day. Okay, I mean, that's not what I feel every day. Okay, but that's what I desire. And lately we've been having a lot of conflict. And I realized that that is the answer to my prayer. Like, the where where I am now, the thoughts that brought me where I am now, which I'm trying to get out of,
Are being
right?
you.
Yes.
They're being presented to you on a silver platter.
Yeah, like here you
So
are.
happy that you get that, because that's actually the gift that's going to move you if you choose to look at it like a gift
It
instead of
is a yes.
a failure that you're not getting your affirmations. No, it's exactly what you need to look at to have what you say you want. And
Yes.
that's like, that is so beautiful that you
Mhm.
get that.
Yeah.
It's a flag waving saying, look at me, I'm here to be healed
Yeah.
and solved and
Yeah. And then it's a
alpha.
choice. Like, do I really, am I going to do what it takes? Am I going to make the effort, like this book, the effort? Am I going to make the effort to meet the divine answer to my prayer?
Exactly. But I have another piece for you. Now I'm getting really,
Okay.
because you're right there. Just all you need to do when the subconscious says faith or belief is, I think, reading this book over and over, and I've spent a lot of time reading this book these days. I think that it's talking about faith and belief that this is how things work. Not faith and belief in yourself, although you
Hmm.
obviously you're reading the book, so you don't
Hmm.
need that. You're already there. You have it in your hand.
Right.
It's faith and belief that you creating a picture, holding it in your mind, being able to concentrate on it in complete, full clarity with no other thoughts for as long as possible, and feeling that picture
Hmm.
imprinted in your, that like that's the order that you're placing. So you make it as clear as possible
Hmm.
with as much emotion as real as possible.
Hmm.
That's really all you have to do
Hmm.
to create whatever it is that you want. And I do
Hmm.
mean whatever it is that you want,
Hmm.
that you
Hmm.
want. So I think that the faith, when he's talking about faith, belief, and all the rest of it in this
Hmm.
book, it means faith that this is actually how things work. Because if
Hmm.
you
Right.
really,
Absolutely.
then
Yeah.
you would never wonder why you're
Hmm.
not getting what you want. How clear is
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
Your thought sends the signal out, emotion draws the event back to you. If you're really focusing on something that you really want, your heart's desire, you're going to feel excited when you think about it as a fait accompli. That's it.
Hmm.
That's really it. But it's
Yeah.
the doubt that either you're worthy of it, or that you're doing it right, or that this is really the way things work, or
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
this isn't going to shake up your life in other areas. So, because sometimes people say, well, if I had the big house, I'd have to clean it, like Julie's analogy the other day. It's like, no, this is how it's going to, this is what I want, and this is how I see it, and this is what's arriving to me. I totally get it. If somebody had 100% faith that that's how the whole thing operates,
Hmm.
there wouldn't be a problem. They'd be driving the Tesla according to the manual. The Tesla being this machine that's down here manifesting things consciously or unconsciously. One last thing, and then I'll hand it back to you, is the subconscious, when it's not directed, still does a lot of things on its own, like pumps blood through your heart, lets you sleep when you have something in your nose, digest your food. I mean, it's taking care of all the body functions on its own pretty much. But it's so sensitive that it'll take orders from even the little passing thoughts. So most of us just walk through life having like a lot of discursive thoughts about wondering about, did our neighbor get COVID, and is it going to come in through the window? I mean, I don't know what people think about, but it's like all that discursive kind of
Mhm.
fear stuff or just, banal thinking, and we're not paying attention to it, and our subconscious is taking that as orders. It's so sensitive.
Mhm.
So for me, this book really points to being very aware of what I'm thinking about, and
Mhm.
really sharpening up the relationship between my meta awareness and what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
The awareness that's aware that I'm thinking of what I'm thinking,
Mhm.
uh, which is
Yeah.
cool, because then you're more present in the moment of now, which according to David Giocondi and everybody else, that's the only time anything ever really happens.
Mhm.
So it all comes together. The quantum physics, subconscious speech, Genevieve Barond, Michael Singer, Joe Dispenza,
Yeah.
the same thing.
And you touched on something that I also actually wanted to bring up too, was that in the book talks about this, is that um, there are people who don't go through a process, of uh, consciously taking over their subconscious and stuff to manifest the desires of their life. There are people who have already, um, let's say, the confidence. I think of someone who's like a high achiever, and they just, I think of Lindsay Rogers. Actually, I had a conversation with her in Cabo that very first incentive trip when I, this was such a telling trip for me. Leslie took me as her guest, and I felt so inferior and insecure on that trip. Like I almost didn't even enjoy myself. I was so wrapped up in like, I'm not like any of these people, and I'm just a hobo. Like that's how I felt. And um Lindsay was there. She was already NMD or RMD or something, and we went to dinner, and I asked her a question. I was like, Lindsay, what is the difference between you and me here? Like we signed up on the same day. And she's like, I took one look at this and knew I could do it. I was like, okay, you nailed it, because I took one look at this and knew I couldn't do it.
Right.
I mean, if you have the confidence, people with confidence are achieving things right and left, and they might not even have any spiritual awareness.
Right.
But it's the confidence that is, and the decision, like the power of decision.
Right.
It's just crazy. So
That's
made
right.
me think of that.
It's who she's deciding to be.
Yeah.
And now that you can decide to be whatever you decide to.
Right. Exactly. I
Now
can decide to be
read the
confident.
manual.
Got the manual right here.
It's never
Yeah.
too late. I mean, yeah, Joe says that like over and over, to people with stage 4 cancer and, given 3 months to live or whatever. There's all these.
Just decide. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Up to you. It's not too late.
Mm-hmm.
You're not too old. You're not too fat. You're not too vegan. You're not too anything. You're not
Mm-hmm.
too anything to totally take charge of your life and do whatever you want. I mean, he says
Mm-hmm.
much more eloquently with a whole bunch of
Mm-hmm.
science behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's terrific news. While you're still drawing a breath, you might as well take this Tesla for a spin around the block.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Just to unmute yourself.
You're taking the floor away from me.
I'm just enjoying you guys, talking about this, because I just think you're hitting every point right on nail on the head. And I love your last little example, Nina. It's so true, because this is the same for all of us. We all have the same playing field. Everything is given to us, but it's and I like what you said too, Anne, about it's the thought that creates our beingness. So if we think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so
Yeah.
your first thought was, well, I can't do this. I don't have the right people. I don't have anything. You start making a list of why you can't, right? And it's like she looked at it and said, I can do this. And so that's it. And so me too, I had the same thing that, I've gone to everybody I know already. They're going to be doing this to me. Oh, she's in one of those again, So I had all that doubt and all that fluttering around in my head. And it's distracting and it brings your emotion down because you feel bad about yourself then, and you feel like a failure, but there is no failure. This is the manual. There is nothing but success. And I love that. So yeah, I mean, you guys, I'm just enjoying all of your take on this. And I agree with everything you're saying. You did a beautiful bang up job, Nina. And of course, Anne, you just come in and just, bring so much wisdom. I really also like that you started with the end. Start with the end in mind. Where do we see ourselves going? What is it? And you did a beautiful job of that. You said, the last two sentences of this book kind of summarizes it all for us. And so it made me think of where I'm going, have the end in mind, and then do in the now what I can do in the moment. And that's all we have is the moment. And elevate my energy, notice my thoughts. If something comes out, shake it off. Literally, that's not true anymore. I don't believe that. And have the faith in this process. And this is what the faith is. That this is the roadmap. This is the way it works. So excellent. Thank you. I love this stuff.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I just told Bella this one thing. I just used this example today. It's so weird that we're talking about. I mean, it's not weird, but also I don't know how I came up with this other than, all this. But I told her she had to do this little video for this. She's doing an online musical right now, and anyway, she had to do this video of herself, like walking down the hall and out the door, like facing herself. And then she was supposed to turn it up so that it showed just the blue sky, and she's supposed to do it between 11 and 1. And, it wasn't that hard. And so, but her first thought, like she went outside and her first thought was, I can't do this because it's either going to have the sun in it or it's going to have a tree branch in it or the house or something. I can't get just the blue sky. Right. And so that was her first thought. And a lot of times when she's supposed to do something, if something presents just the tiniest little challenge, she has this tendency to be like, oh, well, I can't do that. And I told her, I was like, I don't understand that. I mean, I should tell all this to myself because in everyday life, I think that there's nothing that I can't do. I just look at things as a problem that you solve, like a crossword puzzle clue or whatever, because I do crosswords all the time. Well, I was telling her that when you say, I can't do that, that's your first thought. It's like you build this giant wall that you have to spend all of your energy getting over. And then once you get over that wall, there's no energy to do what you were supposed to do, that you were going to do, And I said, so you can't do it well. So you've kind of told yourself you can't do it. And then you can't do it as well as you could have. I was like, what if you said, oh, I can do that. And went about I was like, that would give you energy that like propels you. Instead of putting up a roadblock, you have energy now that propels you to do a really good job with that. And so now that we are discussing this, I'm like, oh, and Julie, you should apply that to certain areas of your life now, and I'm like, oh, that was really wise. Why don't you take your own advice, And so in other areas, because I was like, well, what she was doing was like super easy, and like, why don't you give up about that? And it's like, well, I can look at my own life and go, well, look at this. Why would you give up in that? And that's really easy. You just put a huge obstacle in front of yourself. And so anyway, it's really interesting that happened on the day that you brought up all this, Nina. So it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
Well, I would just like to bring something personal that has to do with this material. And it was a very transformative kind of like re-understanding of my identity. And I bring it up, and I bring it up because of what Anne mentioned. You know, how about, you know, you could just, if you want to be a great singer, then of course sing like as if you were a great singer, and bring whatever it is that you want. And so what happened to me this week was something of that, where I've recently discovered a relative that I didn't know that I had, and I've been doing research, and I have discovered a whole volume of things about this part of my family that's been estranged to me. And I've suddenly realized that there's this whole part of me part of my family that has been locked away, and it's just kind of, I think something has happened now where I'm open to this understanding, and it's very difficult for me to really articulate in a short amount of time, but essentially I'm kind of like re-understanding or incorporating a new awareness of myself that I didn't know about. Some kind of possibility that's been locked away from me and has made my life very strange. But now, somehow, I think through this quantum physics, because I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, actually, Anne, and you were moving around in your house because you said you had a bad connection, and you were moving the laptop into another room, and you were all bundled up, and I don't think you heard what I said, and it was starting then to evolve at that time. And then last week it just hit me like suddenly, like my head exploded with this understanding about this person that I am, that I didn't know I was. And so it's been really just unbelievably wonderful and incredible, and just it's still kind of washing over me. So oh, now I have a cramp.
That's exciting. The possibilities, like a new like what we were talking about, a clean slate, a reset, a creation mode of
It's totally that.
mm-hmm.
It's like I just like was like, wow.
Wow, that's amazing.
Turn this off. So I just thank you, because this is all very wonderful for me.
Thank you for sharing, Gina. I'm not sure what time it is. I think my alarm went off for our next thing, so maybe we should take a minute and talk about our wins for the week. I'll go first and then go around. So my wins this week are, I was on Neora University. I got 3 orders, 2 old PCs ordering, and then a new order, and then a new 2 new unexpected exposures and sample out, and all that during Holy Week. And I got hours back at my job, so my income's going back to normal. And yeah, it's been a good week. So, and yeah, meditation and visioneering in my journal. So it's been good. Who's next? Gina?
Yay, that's wonderful. So yes, Neora University, and then another Facebook Live, which was great. It was another wonderful learning experience. I accidentally, during our Facebook Live virtual pop-up shop, I was to come on live in the shop, but instead I came on live in my own Facebook group.
That's what I did.
So I'm talking away. Hi, I'm Gina, and and I'm so happy you came, and we have prizes for you. And then I saw someone waving at me that I hadn't invited to the thing. I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. And Doreen's not here, unfortunately, because I called her and I said, did I just come on live in the pop-up shop? She's like, no. Hey.
Oh my gosh, Gina.
So I, it's all learning how to pull the knobs and whatever. And so I just said, what the hell? It happened, and I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah.
Why do I care? I don't care. And I got a lot of attention out of it. It was kind of weird. And I kept commenting, sorry, this was for my virtual pop-up shop. I'm so sorry.
Literally, Gina, I did the exact same thing. Exactly. It's so funny. But a lot of new, people, there were people commenting. I didn't even know they were watching me.
Well,
so that was
I
a
don't
good thing.
know if it was as a result of what I did, but somebody was exploring my website today, and she registered on my website, and I kept getting the ping, someone is registered on Go Prospect, and it's someone I don't know, and it's not anyone I sent. And I'm like, who's this? I looked on Facebook. It's not anyone I know. And so I sent her an email, and I said, hi, how you doing? How's, I hope you're doing well during this pandemic, and, let me know if I can help you. So she wrote me back, and she said, I'm really interested in the product line and the prices. So I wrote her back, and I attached a tear sheet. I said, here is our product line and our prices, and have a wonderful evening. And I'm here, let me know whatever I can do to help. So that happened today.
Wow. Awesome.
Something will come of that. I talked to a customer who needed to pause her night and day cream, but in talking to her, she became interested in the hydrogel eye patches. So instead of losing a monthly ADO, we got her converted to the hydrogel patches, and she maintained her loyalty discount. So she was happy about that. And I was happy that I was able to, do the follow-up. And what else? That's pretty much it. Neora U, that's it. And hopefully we can do another Facebook Live.
Yay. Awesome. That's great. Ashley, how about you, girlie?
Hey, Nina. I'll have to get back and watch replay because I missed almost the whole thing of that. So my ones for the week, I got a new brand partner.
Oh my gosh, I think you just said you
pretty
got a new
cool.
brand partner.
Is my internet not
Okay.
working again?
Yeah. But
All
you
right.
got a new brand partner. I heard that.
Hold on. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, you're
Can
frozen.
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. No, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Hold
totally
on.
frozen.
Skip me. Skip me.
Okay.
Oh, you
Julie?
can hear me now? Okay. All right.
I was gonna say, try to just stop the video and just
I'm
do
gonna,
audio.
yeah.
Now talk, Ashley. See if that's better.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go for it.
See, my Wi-Fi does not like the video, I guess. Okay, so I had a new brand partner, and she really joined in a new and unique way. She had texted me, and I
What happened to you? Where'd you go? Oh no, Ashley, we can't hear you. Uh-oh.
6, 8.
Okay, now I can hear you.
24. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
All right.
So she
Do you want
texted
to
you and
skip? Do you want to skip me, and I'll just join on my phone so that it's not like in and out?
okay, yeah. Do it
Yeah.
on your phone.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Julie.
Okay, I have been doing meditations every day almost, and my mind movies. And I started, like, I was just doing a mind movie that was money, and I started doing one that's relationships, and then, yeah, money and relationships. And so I added that one, so that was fun. And I have been making relationship, like I've been I don't know what that is. I've been anyway, I've been just connecting more with a couple of people that I really like, who are really interesting, and I've been connecting with them online. I know them in person also, but since we can't connect in person, but they're really interesting. And it dawned on me today that, they would make such good, business people. And so eventually, it's the kind of thing that I could like bring up with them or something, or ask if they would try something and give me their opinion, because they're really into skincare and makeup and stuff like that. And so that's exciting, because I wasn't connecting with them to do that at all. So it's totally natural, And so anyway, that, and I also did not, I added a bunch of different boho, linen, flowy clothes to so many shopping carts, because Facebook and Instagram like really want me to buy them, and I want to buy them too, but I don't need them. And so I filled up all these carts, and then I deleted them. So I deleted all of them and didn't buy a single thing. And so that was amazing, because because I want them, and they're cheap and beautiful and linen and flowy and boho, and they're so me that I don't need them. So anyway, I managed to not buy anything like that, because it's so interesting, y'all, to go to the mailbox and get a package. That was always just kind of whatever, but now it's like a major event with how life is now. And I'm like, it's so hard not to like try and create a major event every day by ordering something to be sent to me. Like, I'm serious. These are things that I never have like struggled with before. So anyway, that's silly, but it's true. And also, Gina, when you were saying that, it made me think of like somebody who finds out like they realize that I'm really actually the princess. I'm the long lost daughter of this king. And so that totally changes your identity. If you realize that your dad is actually the king and you're not actually the orphan, and so it's like something that could totally change your identity overnight.
That's basically what happened. It's not literally king and orphan, but literally, yeah. I've discovered something and that wasn't kept away from me, and for whatever reason.
Amazing.
That's cool.
Okay. Are you done, Julie? Was that okay, cool. So let's see, Marielle.
Hello, ladies. Great job, Nina. That was so good. I took great notes, and I took some notes too with you. It's just so good. I can't wait till my turn to get to dive in. So that's good. It's in a couple weeks. But so my wins for this week, I got. I'm loving the new pop-up shops that we're doing because I got a new partner last week, and then another customer last week, and the last one, and then a new customer this week. And I'm like, and it's easy peasy pumpkin squeezy. It's like so simple to put up. It's already made. It's so much fun. Um, you know, the one gal I didn't even think of. Well, I prospected her forever for MS for EHP, but I never would have thought she'd like one eye serum. You know, it's crazy. So that was a really great win, and I thank you, ladies, for being great partners in that. And then I had 2 PCs that were new last month, and they reordered. So that is always really great because I always ask if you want me to turn it off, and they always turn it off. Because if I don't, I forget, and then I get in trouble. And I've paid for many orders, so I don't want to do that. And so these guys, they love the product, and they reordered. So that means I get points. So I was so excited about that. The last month, I couldn't get any eye serum for free because I was 3 points short.
Ah,
Anyway, so I'm glad about that. And then I set up a Facebook Live for reading the book, and it was so exciting. And only one brand partner came, and none of her kids came. None of her grandkids came to listen to the book. But anyway, I'm going to do it again. I made a whole big thing about it. It was just good for me to get out of my comfort zone. So I wanted to do it, and I pushed it off because, anxiety kind of like, oh, will I get slammed or whatever. So I did it again. I'm going to do it again. So it's good. I'm rambling, sorry. And then I had a really awesome experience with Anne today, and I got a little loving on me from Anne from California, and it was so amazing. It was really, really cool. And it was just, I physically felt things. It was amazing. I left and I was like, wow. And then it changed how I was like acting with my son during homeschooling. It was really, really cool. It was amazing. Thank you, Anne, so much. So they were my wins. Sorry.
wow. Awesome. That is very curiously amazing. All of that. Love it. Okay. So next we have Linda.
Okay. Well, gosh, it's been, I've been furloughed from my job, and I'm just so grateful for this time. And I've used it, I think, pretty wisely. Reaching out to people, calling them about, this promotions we have. I'm also texting, and I'm not getting a lot of activity there as far as, old PCs. And I'm looking, I have all these names, and they haven't ordered in such a long time and stuff. And I'm like, I really didn't do a good job as a brand partner in customer service. So that was a win to realize that I can improve there and be much better, more responsive. I'd send out a thank you note, but then it would kind of stop. I felt like I was bothering them or something. And I love, Marielle, that you had those people coming back, because that's a big deal when they order the next month. That's a huge win, I think, because once they start using these products, they never want. I have people when I very first started too that have ordered, and that's 5 years. And that's, to me, those are huge wins. But so I also love these pop-up, willing to be lousy until we get good at it. And I love you ladies. It's been so much fun. Your creativity and your presence on the lives is just great. So we did that. That was a big win. I got a new brand partner from that, and
Wow.
yeah, and a new customer. And then also last week I had a new brand partner, and we did her pop-up shop business launch, and she didn't even want to come on. She was so afraid, right? So I did the opening and Carol did the expert part, and she got 4 customers. So she got $140 worth of products. So she maxed that out. I put her on your page, Ann, and Jeff Olson commented and liked. I've never even seen that. And I was like, Michelle, look, the CEO of the company liked it, you know. So that was pretty cool. She was like, oh my God. So, you know, it's just this energy is just so good. You know, this is so good. And this is a big win. I love this. I love this group. I love you all. And this is just so helpful that we come together and we elevating our energy. My word for 2020 is elevate, and you ladies are just taking it to the next level. So thank you so much.
Yay. Thank you, Linda. You're definitely part of that elevation. Okay, I think last but definitely not least, and Carrie Ford.
Okay, it's elevate time. You know, that's the whole thing I forgot to say about my takeaway from Subconscious Speaks is that everything is demanding that we evolve, that we elevate our consciousness, that's the whole point of this thing we call life. And we can go slow, we can go fast, or we can go medium. Our pace is up to us. But the more I think about it, the more I'm sure that's it. You know, even the little bugs in the ground are evolving. It's all evolving. It's an evolution, a self-discovery. It blows my mind. And Marielle, I want to qualify what she said about receiving love from me. Is I did the Dr. Joe meditation long distance with her, the one that we're going to do in Power of 8, that I posted it. I posted it on the thread or on the page or somewhere. I gave it to you guys. But he said to specifically do it for someone who's in receiver mode.
Wow.
So I did it with her. And it was super cool for me too, because I could feel a whole bunch of stuff going on as well. Very powerful, really simple and beautiful. And Julie, I want to say, you might have taken things out of your shopping cart, but they're going to reappear in your feed because they know if you have them in your shopping cart, you cannot escape. The gods of Facebook are going to be like, you like this dress so much. She's going to see it over and over and over and over. They know that 7 exposures is usually when somebody says, okay, all right, gotta have that dress, forget it, fine. So
That's hilarious.
true. I've been there.
And I've always stopped ordering because they're usually like, oh, it takes like 23 days to get to you, 23 business days. And I'm like, oh, I won't even want it by then. And now I'm like, I'll probably be exactly in this spot. So excited that it came in the mail. So it's even harder to say no.
Yeah, when you start thinking when you see it, well, there's my dress again. You call it
Yeah,
dress in your mind.
exactly.
Dress again. And you picture yourself in the dress. See, that's a perfect example of like how this stuff works is you're picturing yourself in the dress. You're picturing yourself wearing the dress. You're spinning in the dress, in the sunshine. I mean, it's just the way it goes. I don't really have any wins except that I'm keeping super odd hours. I've turned into like complete freak version of myself, letting my freak flag fly. And why not? There's no one around except this box of Kleenex and this pen. You know, when you're alone at home having spiritual initiations and getting up at 3 a.m. and who knows what, you might as well let your freak flag fly because why not? There's no one around to judge except for you guys. So it's kind of fun, kind of great. And that's really my win. I did some parties for Ashley's brand partner.
Okay.
Went really well. The end.
Isn't it amazing that a skincare direct marketing company is what made this all happen?
I tell you, there are no accidents in this perfect situation that we're always in. It's perfect example.
Yeah. I think Linda had one more thing to share.
Yeah, and I do want to say this because, Anne, this is a big win for me. Your website and your interview, I have been sharing that. I have been moved by it. I feel called to help spread the word. And so I have been sharing that and following up with people on that. And to me, that's a big win because I think this is such a precious, precious moment. I am so grateful for this time. I like to say it's off that hamster wheel to really what is it I want to create and have this precious time. So I just love what you're doing and thank you. And, I certainly support you 1000%. I love it.
Thank you.
That's
I
awesome.
agree. I have loved it. It's so beautiful, and I could get stuck in the rabbit hole of the section that's like all the art and paintings and songs, and like it made me go explore different people and different things, and I just love that. I had the most delightful, like, I don't know if it was night or afternoon or something, a long time that was started just from looking at your website, and I'm like, I have so much left to look at and to
Yeah.
read, and it's just really exciting. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay. Well, I think that's everything, everybody. So we should hop off and get back on. Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, you're
You're
muted.
you're muted, Anne.
I want to encourage you to go to the Rhoda and see who's next, unless someone knows they are next. So we don't end up all getting on next week all excited and no one. Right.
Yeah. Okay, everybody look at the Rhoda on Love Club
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
See you back in two. I'm gonna take a little potty break. I'll be right back.
Bye.